Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back for more Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. I'm going to start off today with a little bit of an apology. Last episode, I kind of was... Holy smokes, wow, look at that. Free Great Armor Soul, one shot. By the way, that's the Lightning Doll. That's just so good. Anyway, I'm going to start off with a bit of an apology, only because I didn't feel like I was in the right headspace last episode. I'm sure some of you won't care, but... it's been a little while since I've recorded, and I was kind of not in the best mood to be doing it, although I really needed to. I'm starting to get behind here, so... apologies if my demeanor was upsetting to anybody, or didn't feel like I had my head in the game, because really I didn't half the time, but... Also, I noticed, listening back to it, there was a couple of annoying external sound effects and things. The explanation for that is, normally I keep my phone in here just in case, but I normally silence it in the event that I need to be contacted, but I neglected to do so this time, and I completely forgot, so apologies for that. Also, I don't normally do this, but I live at home with my girlfriend, and we have a dog, and I don't normally let the dog in the room when I'm recording, but it just so happened she's very needy and wanted to be in here, so I left her alone, and she kind of made some noise, so I'm sorry about that. That being said, we are going to get back into it properly this time, and I'm going to make it up to you guys by taking on probably the most iconic Castlevania boss, apart from Dracula himself. We are taking on this particular boss here, who you will immediately recognize as Death. Death, this is actually a very fun fight. I'm a big fan of this fight. Death comes in two different phases. This first phase, Death himself is merely a background feature. He's kind of floating in the background. He's unhittable. He's not actually there or able to be attacked. However, his scythe is swinging around the room menacingly. And you'll also see that there's those little mini scythes that are flying around the room as well. Oh geez, that's painful. And these little mini scythes are rather annoying. And in fact, I think that's what many people commonly associate Death in Castlevania with, is those little mini attacking scythes, rather than the big menacing one. And then he does this laser bolt nonsense that's not difficult to avoid, but if you're not prepared for it, it can be a big problem. Thankfully, I can dodge that fairly easily. Okay, so phase one's over. Now we get to Death himself. Comes into the foreground and pulls out a different scythe. A more dangerous-looking one. A double-bladed scythe, as it were, and that's a very difficult attack to dodge. In fact, he's just going to outright murder me, so that's cool. I don't actually know the appropriate means of dodging that, now that I'm thinking about it. It's been a very long time since I've played this, so... Apologies, I'm going to have to start over again. Thankfully, I just saved. They do that on purpose, I imagine. Leave a save room outside the boss door. Let's make sure my equipment's up to snuff, so we're going to turn on... Nah, you know what? Great Armor might not be a bad idea, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to deal with it. We don't actually need the Ghost Answer for this fight. Death himself does have a soul to drop, but he's guaranteed to drop it. So, I don't need the Ghost Answer. I can use a more useful soul that will give me a better edge in combat. I don't have a lot of useful yellow souls, it looks like. I guess I've got the Headhunter. So we'll go with that. We'll give ourselves a little extra defense, a little extra attack. I'm keeping the Lightning Doll because it's one of my favorite ones, as I mentioned. We don't really need the Lucky Charm, so we're going to put the Heart Pendant on for an extra point of defense. I don't want to lose the potency that I have at the moment, and Grom is by far the best weapon that I have at the moment. Partisan is just too slow. So this is the best that I've got. I'm actually going to save again real quick, so I don't have to do that again. And we're going to give Death another shot here real quick. I'm just going to avoid that heartbeat this time, because I want to have full health when I come in here. So let's see if I can make better use of dodging those annoying little mini scythes this time, because I know those hit me a few times last time. And you'll see Lightning Doll does a lot of damage, and I'm a big fan of it for that reason. And it hits multiple times. That's probably the best part, is that it hits multiple times. And it does a ton of damage. So those lasers, not all that threatening necessarily, but still a problem. You don't want to get hit by that, surely. Whew, that was close. Almost ran out of room there. Ran out of runway, so to speak. And yet again, same deal. Oh, geez, it got me that time. 82, that's not pleasant. Here we go again. Alright, cool. I'm just gonna try to make quick work of this scythe part. Actually, I can't, because I'm out of mana now. Alright, dodged it that time. Ow. I'd almost rather get hit by the mini sides than any of that, so I'm actually gonna use a high mind up and get my magic back so I can lay some hurt with my lightning doll on death. Now this one is a little easier to dodge, if you can see it coming, and he normally telegraphs it fairly well. This one I think I can just duck. When he throws it like that, yeah. When he does the lunge forward though like that, you just kind of get out of the way, so to speak. This though you can definitely duck under. It looks like it's hitting you, but it's actually not. That's kind of weird. I need another potion, it looks like. I think I have a couple of these. Death is certainly a difficult boss if you don't know what you're doing, so just kind of wail on him as much as you can and hope for the best. Oh, look at that. Ow. Hey, there we go. Death is down. It only took me a high potion and a high mind up to do it. And here we have the Death Soul. Attacks enemies using sickles. So you'll see this is a blue soul, one that you can turn on and leave active. And actually what it does is the same thing that he's been doing to us the whole fight. It summons those little mini sickles and flings them around the room. So, not altogether terribly useful in my opinion. But, I mean, I'll take a look at it if you want. That's great armor. We need death. So as long as I leave this turned on, it just sends these little flying sickles randomly around the screen. You'll see it drains my mana awfully quick, though, so I don't think I'll be making very much use of that. But it is really cool. And it's kind of lets you stick it back in his death's face now that you have his own power and whatnot. So for our efforts, we are granted with the Skula Skull. Skull? What did I just say? Skula Soul. Skula? I'm not sure. At any rate, it lets us walk under the water. So we can actually, that part where you saw the broken little bridge there in the last video, well, we can actually make use of that now and actually go under the water and explore all that there is to see in the watery parts of this world. And there are quite a few. You wouldn't think there'd be a lot of underwater segments in a giant castle, but you would be wrong. There's quite a few. I believe it's actually referred to as the underground reservoir. And there is much to do in there. In fact, I believe it is the largest single area of the castle. There are lots and lots of enemies and lots of treasure to be found down there, and I'm certainly looking forward to it because of one thing in particular that is going to make a lot of the rest of this game not trivial, but a lot more manageable. Let's put it that way. Now, if I'd actually gotten all those attacks to hit, I would have killed that guy in like 2 shots. It is possible, I've done it very, very easily actually, to get Lightning Doll to the point where it kills the Great Armor in a single hit. It is capable of hitting him as many as 3 times, and fun fact, Great Armor is actually weak to it. So, where am I supposed to be going now? I imagine probably... I guess I could go out to the left there, couldn't I? Or I could go back under the water. I want to see what's over here first. I don't remember actually what's on that part of the area, so I'm going to take a look at that real quick. I think it's the top floor, and if it is, we can avoid that, because we are certainly not ready for the end game yet. Have some lightning. Big fan of the lightning doll. Big fan of the lightning doll. Alright, yeah, I think this goes to the top floor, but we'll double check and make sure. I just want to see what's over here. Yep, this is the top floor. So this is actually the end area of the game, right up here. And we are nowhere near ready for that, so I'm just going to turn right back around and go back the way I came. And we are going to head to the underground reservoir next, because I believe that is where we are supposed to go after this. The clock tower, I mean. And the underground reservoir is... I like it. It's actually kind of a fun area to go explore. There's a lot to do, a lot of stuff to pick up. It's very rewarding, and it's a lot less annoying than this stupid clock tower. Oh, there was money on the floor over there. I didn't even see that. Oh, with the petrifying Medusa heads. Let's pick up a $2,000. Oh, jeez. I didn't even see the spikes there. And, okay. Well, rather take 14 from the stupid Medusa head than... You know what? I actually am going to sit here and try to grab Gremlin here, because he is a straight-up upgrade to the Ghost Dancer. in that the Ghost Dancer is a flat +4 luck. The Gremlin here is +8. So I would like to grab his soul, if not for the sake of making grabbing the occasional soul much easier. And so far it's been working out for me pretty well, I like to think. Got a Lightning Doll soul without even really trying, and that was only the +4. Imagine what I could do with a +8. That being said, if he doesn't give it up in the next minute or so, I'm just going to keep moving on. This is one of the only gremlins in the game, unfortunately, that you can actually attack and farm. And thankfully, he dies in one hit, and it's very easy to go back and forth and keep trying. So, yeah, if in the next 45 seconds or so, if I don't get him, then I'll just move on. You wouldn't think it'd be that difficult, but some enemies, despite having a reasonably decent chance of dropping their soul, just stubbornly refuse to. It's very obnoxious. It's very similar to, well, I guess it's not really similar at all, but if you're familiar with Pokemon at all, trying to farm or hunt for shiny Pokemon, especially even in the recent generations where it's a lot easier to, despite the fact that it's much easier, it still never wants to. So I think the odds are still actually very, very bad in terms of trying to find a shiny, even under optimal conditions. For example, having the shiny charm in the new editions, having the Pokedex maxed out, using the Masuda method to breed. There we go, got the Gremlin. Luck increased by 8, so we're gonna slap that on real quick. It's a straight up upgrade to the Ghost Dancer that I've been using this whole time. I wouldn't mind the Medusa Head Soul, only because it's very useful for a particular fight later on in the game. I don't need it right now, though, so I'm not going to go out of my way to try to grab that one. I'm just going to fight them as they come. And that is by far from the last time we'll be seeing them, too. In fact, they are very prolific in other areas of the castle, not just here, although I think this is the most prolific that they are in the entire game, is up in here in the Clock Tower. As I was saying about shiny hunting, though, I do like to try to do shiny hunting. I did it in my my copy of X, Pokemon X. In fact, I've got a very considerable shiny collection in that game. The Friend Safari makes it very easy. In that, I kind of, I'm not going to say it's cheating, because it really isn't. But if you're familiar with how the Friend Safari works in X and Y, it's you make friends on your 3DS as you normally would, and everybody has a specific set of Pokemon unique to their player ID, so to speak. So, me, for example, if you had me as a friend on your 3DS and you went into your X version and played through the Safari that's tied to my name, my player ID, it is a Grass-type Friend Safari. I think there's like Oddish and Go-Goat in it or something like that. That being said, everybody's is different, and you have a pool of 3 different Pokemon, all the same type. But there's like a certain subset of ones to pick from. And it just so happened that I was interacting a lot on a subreddit specifically designed for Friend Safari at the time. And it was just people exchanging friend codes. They would say what's in their Safari, and hey, if you want what's in here, add me, and you can go check out the Safari and grab whatever you need. I kind of mapped it out. This is another side of my my analytical data crunching nature. I found the exact perfect combination of people to be friends with that I was able to meet on the subreddit to give me access to every Friend Safari Pokemon with like the minimal amount of friends in my roster. So I think I have like something like 60 friends registered on my 3DS specifically for the purpose of Friend Safari. Like, I don't even know these people, they're just internet people, but I have access to every single Friend Safari Pokemon just because of that reason. I was very proud of that fact. It took me a little while to put together the list and get everybody's codes together and iron out the 1 or 2 Pokemon that I didn't have access to. But I did manage to make it happen, and I still do to this day. So, I also learned that it just so happens that it's a lot easier to find shinies in the Friend Safari than it is any other method. And because I have the Pokedex completed, I have the shiny charm as well, so I can go into the Friend Safari and have a pretty reasonably good chance of finding shinies on every outing. And sometimes I don't even try. Sometimes you just run into them all the time, just at random. But it occurred to me that I'm splurging on about a game that I'm not even remotely playing right now, so I'm sorry about that. That being said, we just came out of the clock tower. There was an area off to the left that I could have gone instead, I just noticed. And in fact, I'm going to go back there and check that out. But I'm going to go back there and check it out next time. So thank you all for sticking with me. I hope you're enjoying the clock tower, or you were enjoying the clock tower. You're not going to see too much more of it. We took down one of my favorite bosses in the game, and there is more to come. So thank you for sticking with me this far. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you next time. So until then, this has been Seraphin. Have a good night, everyone.